I exposed my wife's affair and the contractor's fraud.
Some background. I'm 31 male, she's 29 female. We bought a two-bedroom in an old building and promised ourselves a light cosmetic refresh, which mutated in about 8 days into a full gut job. We hired a contractor, friend of a friend, best rates in town, according to my wife. His name was Alex. He'd do everything: wiring, bathroom, kitchen, floors, turnkey, he said, which in hindsight meant turn your keys over and hope.
I work remote from a co-working space, so I wasn't home during the day. My wife oversaw the project because she had PTO and then reduced hours. First red flags were stupid little things. The material invoices looked inflated. We paid for 8 bags of plaster. I could account for 5 empties, 2 half-used, 1 pristine. The pro explanation was, we move leftover stock between sites. Then a folding mattress appeared on our balcony for breaks, 2 IKEA wine glasses materialized, and someone left a bottle of Prosecco with the story neighbors gifted us. My wife laughed and told me I was CSI Renovation.
Deadlines started to float. Self-leveling tomorrow. No, Friday. No, Monday. I asked for a schedule. I got a blurry photo of a paper with Alex's fat handwriting. "We'll make it beautiful, bro." Not exactly a Gantt chart.
Our smart lock pings me whenever the door opens. One night, 10:43 p.m. Armed system disarmed. My wife said the foreman had forgotten a trowel. Then I found a little pet camera I had set up, originally to watch our cat during the chaos, face down in a box, micro SD wiped. Alex was curious how it works, she said, like he was a raccoon who discovered a shiny coin.
I put a $20 camera behind a roll of wallpaper and set it to record on sound. Day 3, it caught a syrupy laugh and the crinkle of takeout bags. Day 4, heavy breathing and a muffled shh. Day 5, I drove over. Door was closed but not latched. Smart lock was chirping because someone pressed the button and didn't finish the thoughts. My wife opened, face white like drywall dust. Kitchen smelled like someone else's cologne. 1 glass on the counter, wet ring. Alex had just stepped out, was here for 5 minutes. You're imagining things. I left. Didn't sleep. I am not a saint, but I'm not an idiot. We share a catch-all email for deliveries and receipts. A Telegram backup landed there because she'd toggled something dumb. The export had "baby," "you smell like sunlight and spackle," and a photo of my wife's hand on a man's neck in our hallway. I stared until all the letters swam. I didn't kick doors in. I called a buddy at the Consumer Protection Office and asked how one spots a fraudulent estimate. He laughed and said, "Either file a complaint now or keep paying for air." Filing on my wife felt like nuking my own kitchen. I wanted something neater, not loud, surgical. Start with the money. I asked a store manager, my friend's cousin, to price the same marble-look tile Alex sourced through connections. Wholesale was half what we'd paid. Alex had sworn 0 margin. I drove to his office, a garage with 2 sawhorses and a radio. Pretended I had another apartment to renovate. He emailed a quote on a company registered to a woman. Turns out he'd opened a new sole proprietorship under his mother's name a month after we signed. I found his public Instagram because, of course, he had one. Reels of Day 24, feature wall, plus a selfie with a woman wearing fox ear beanie. Captions, "My wife owns that beanie." Comments said, "My bunny." Scrolling back, I hit an old picture with a woman and a kid at a playground. Tag #myfamily. I messaged her.
Spent half an hour wording it so I didn't sound unhinged. "Hi, this might be painful. I believe your ex-partner, Alex, is working at our place, and he's involved with my wife. I'll share proof if you want." 2 days of silence. Then, "We're not together. Show me." I sent 2 screenshots, no porn, just timestamps and pet names. She replied with a facepalm emoji, and an hour later, he said he started a new life. Looks like the old one isn't dead.
Meanwhile, I printed 3 sets of every estimate, receipt, and all those shady cash register lines that said free item instead of SKU. I filed complaints, tax office and consumer protection, under my own name as a concerned client. The clerk looked at me like I was the kid who reminded the teacher about the quiz. Then came self-leveling day. I parked early. Alex pulled up in a wheezing Focus, carrying a bag of food. 10 minutes later, my wife came down in a black hoodie, lacquered nails, smiled and hugged him in a way I couldn't deny. They went upstairs. I followed. The door wasn't fully closed again. Bless that dumb lock. I stepped inside. Alex jerked like he'd been tasered. My wife took a step back and deployed the world's saddest line. "It's not what you think."
I didn't yell. I put a folder on the counter and said, "This is what I think. That is what you do." I told Alex the invoices were already submitted and that the free item receipts and made-up SKUs were in 2 agencies' inboxes. He smirked, then turned to color like wet cement. I removed his access from the lock app and told them to leave. She cried. He said love happens. I said audits happen too.
Life got aggressively mundane after that, with blood embedded in the grout. My wife tried explanations. I felt invisible. He looked at me. You were always at work. I listened and believed none of it. We cohabited 3 weeks like roommates with a ghost between us, until I rented a room by my co-working space. She said she was going to tell me soon. Said it was a break in her brain. Said I'd left her long ago. I found 0 sympathy left. When someone puts a drywall screw through your heart, you don't rinse it. You pull. Consequences arrived like mail. Alex posted on Instagram, "Temporary troubles, 100% prepayment only." From what I can tell, based on public registries, the tax office suspended his mother's sole prop, and later the business closed. The playground woman, Alex's ex, I guess, DM'd again. He was behind on child support, and there was another company front he'd tried to route clients through. I sent her scans of our quotes on that company letterhead. She wrote, "Thank you. I'll pass them to my lawyer." I said nothing. We tried 1 session of couples therapy. The therapist asked me, "Do you want to forgive or do you want to be right?" I said, honestly, "I want this to stop existing." She nodded and said that means closing the book. We filed for divorce. No thunder, no earthquakes. We split furniture in a disturbingly polite draft. She kept the bed and the espresso machine. I took the desk and the cursed smart lock, which I threw down the chute because I am melodramatic sometimes. I finished the Reno with a boring, contract-heavy crew that itemized every screw and showed up at 8:59 a.m. The tile is a hair crooked, but I don't shake when I cross the kitchen at night. Sometimes I miss the wife I thought I had. The silly voice notes, the way she called the radiator the happiness pipe. Then I remember the balcony mattress and 2 IKEA glasses, and I stop missing. I know what I did. Weaponizing paperwork is passive-aggressive adult vengeance.
Plenty of people will say I should have just left. Maybe. But I reread Baby and Bunny, and it felt fair that the guy who turned my trust into a line item met people who could actually count.